What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. I'm reading an article to you today from Business Insider, and a direct link will be in the description. Obviously, I'm not going to go over the entire article because it's a fairly long one, but this is a very important article that I think everyone should read, and I'll do my best to go over the highlights of it with you and get through it as quickly as possible. Uber is making changes to eliminate the fear factor for drivers. You're not believing it either, right? Well, let's see what they have to say. Uber's had a bumpy ride with its drivers. The ride-hailing company has faced widely publicized driver protests over fair pay and treatment, and its recent efforts building self-driving car technology has created more distrust. Absolutely true so far. But Uber, which is valued at $68 billion in private markets and which is closely watched IPO candidate, says that forging stronger ties with drivers is now a top priority. Well, they're so close to this self-driving car technology. Why? They don't want drivers to leave. They need more money. Jeff Jones, the company's new ride-sharing president, posted a long note on LinkedIn promising to do a better job with drivers, and the company says it's pouring more resources into its driver experience team, which focuses solely on understanding the needs of drivers and building technology for the people behind the wheel. A new set of tools released by the team before Thanksgiving is designed to address some of the drivers' biggest gripes, executives at the company say. Perception is hard to change, but I think it's changing. Ryan Fujiu, a senior product manager at Uber, told Business Insider. If you go out and talk to drivers, and you will actually get a sense of, hey, things are improving. Still, with arch rival Lyft perceived as the more driver-friendly ride-hailing service, and with Uber refusing to provide a mechanism for drivers to collect tips within the app, the company still has a lot of work to do. Fear of the ratings. This is a big one, guys. Step one is eliminating the fear factor. When we talk to drivers, for the longest time, they'd say, well, I'm just afraid about being deactivated, or I'm afraid my ratings will hurt my ability to make money. Uber isn't eliminating the 5-star rating that passengers give drivers. Low ratings mean drivers can be activated from Uber service. But the company's new compliments system broadens the feedback system. Passengers can now compliment a driver by choosing from things like excellent service or expert navigation. If you guys have the newer version of the app, you will notice that where you used to get comments, you now get comments, and there's a lot of little stickers or badges in there that customers can say, yeah, it was a clean car, excellent service, things like that. I don't really see how that eliminates the fear factor. It doesn't really change anything, in my opinion. If you still fall below that 4.6, then you're still going to be terminated. So the idea is to pivot ratings away from the negative aspect that instilled fear in drivers and turn it into a positive experience. Only a vanishingly small number of people are deactivated for having low ratings, and the company wanted to move to reinforcing with drivers who are doing their job well that they are excelling, not just getting in touch with an issue when an issue comes up. Ditching servant status. Now this one is a big one because any driver knows that nowadays we get treated like crap by a lot of passengers. A lot of passengers look down at us like we literally are their servants, and it didn't used to be that way, but that is for another video. Experimenting with the rating system is just one thing Uber is trying to do to balance the relationship between drivers and riders. The 5-star system is a two-way feedback system where drivers also rate riders, and Uber has already taken small steps, measures like charging riders if drivers wait outside for more than 2 minutes to help riders understand how valuable the driver's time is. Now that's been here for a while, so that's nothing new. Feedback from drivers shows it's important to them that riders look at them as another human being and not just a servant. That kind of relationship is what we're trying to equalize that a little more. Okay. Many members of the driver experience team have become Uber drivers themselves to understand what it means to be in the driver's seat. There's even a mock seat set up in the driver experience team's part of Uber headquarters so employees can feel it firsthand. I mean, that's cool and everything, but I mean, you're really not going to get a feel for it behind a computer. You need to be in the driver's seat and deal with real-world situations. In other places I've worked, if an app crashed all of a sudden, it wasn't good. but it didn't mean that it wasn't making money today, and it didn't mean that the person wasn't able to make rent that week. That's reflected even in the size of the team. The driver's team is one of the largest product and engineering tech teams in the company, just in numbers, because the company puts a lot of emphasis in it as well. The company's building out green light centers, a one-stop shop for Uber onboarding, vehicle checks, and support in cities throughout the U.S. Now, those are very helpful. I will say that I've had a very good experience with my local Uber green light center. So that's very helpful. But I mean, wouldn't it be easier if they just had a phone number? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Another example is the pause button, which allows drivers to pause accepting requests if they need to take a break. That is a really cool feature, I have to admit that. The last holdout. Uber's driver experience team is working through a punch list of drivers' needs. But that raises an important question. Why doesn't Uber allow tips? Especially when drivers clearly want the option. That's probably the number one thing drivers want. And I really don't like their answer to this. Drivers do ask about tips, and it's something that they definitely compare us, but it's an opportunity for us to look at a variety of ways to address competition. It's definitely a factor that comes up, and we're not ignoring it, but we're trying to address it in other ways. Kim, the senior design manager, compared it to when Henry Ford was dreaming up the automobile and drivers were saying they needed faster horses. People wanted something faster, but thought faster horses were the solution before the car came along. The same goes for tips, she argues. People want more money, but tipping doesn't have to be the answer. Tips is one way to solve that, but we're trying to solve it in a more impactful way, Kim said. For us, it's giving them a better bottom line, and that's a much harder problem to solve, but we want to get better at the earnings aspect of it first. See, I'm sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. It doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with Henry Ford and the invention of the automobile versus faster horses. It has nothing to do with that. It's very simple. I don't know why this response is so complicated. I don't know if it's just trying to confuse people, but it's very simple. Drivers want tips. Passengers actually would be happy to tip. Where's the issue? Why are you trying to solve a simple problem in a complex manner? Add a tipping option to the app. With that being said, guys, I'm done with this video. I do apologize for rushing through it and getting a little tongue twisted from here from time to time. It's 5 in the morning. I need to go to bed. Again, the link in the description will be to Business Insider, so you can read this article for yourself. Till next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.